All right, guys, in today's video, we will be talking about how you can boost your credit fast. But first, make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on your notification so you can know when we drop our next video.
And if you like content like this, press the like button and let us know in the comments section down below. Stay tuned.
All right, so the first thing that we can do to boost our credit score up is get in with the credit monitoring service. And the reason I'm saying this is because you want to know what your credit score is. And not only that, you want to know what's on your credit report, because you can have things on your credit report that's causing your score to drop, right? You want to be able to check for inaccuracies with your personal information. This can be things like your name spelled wrong, your address is wrong, your phone number, or your employer. And you also want to check for accounts that may be on your report that's not even yours. You know how many people are getting scammed out there, or identity theft? So you want to be able to see if there are accounts on your credit report that may not even be yours, or there might be accounts on your credit report that are reporting negatively. So we want to be able to do a credit sweep, get our credit nice and clear, no derogatory marks, because once we do this, our credit score will jump, right? And some places that you can go to check your credit report is annualcreditreport.com, which is a free service, right? You can get it once a year. You can go to myfico.com, Identity IQ, and Experian. But those resources, you actually have to pay a small fee every month, but it's worth it, right? Because it's your credit report, right? You want to get your credit straight, because credit affects mostly everything in your life, right? So that's the number one thing you can do first, is check your credit report, get with a credit monitoring service so you can see what's going on with your situation.
Yes, now to add to that, the second fastest way you could boost your credit score is by becoming an authorized user. Now, what is an authorized user? An authorized user is when someone puts you on their credit card and allows you to take on their payment history and their credit history. This could be a close relative, this could be a close friend, or it could be a stranger for a small fee. But this allows you to boost your credit score up quickly. Now, before you allow anyone to put you on their credit card, you want to make sure you check these different factors like the utilization, the payment history, the how high their limits are, their credit score. All right, checking these things could dramatically affect you, because if you don't check, remember, one late payment could stay on your credit history for 7 years. So imagine signing on to someone's credit card and they have like 5 late payments. You just put that on your credit history for 7 years.
Yes.
All right?
So check whoever you're going to become an authorized user with, and you want to make sure that their credit is straight before you jump and put yourself on their credit card, right? And not only that, you can also, when you're approaching somebody to talk about becoming an authorized user on their account, you know, you can tell them like, hey, you know, you can make sure their credit stuff is straight, their report, everything is straight, reporting good, late payments, utilization, all that, right? You want to be able to have the person feel comfortable, especially if it's a family member. And you can tell them to reassure them like, hey, you don't even have to give me a card, because they don't even have to give you a card as an authorized user. So they can keep the card, they can tear it up, and you just get in that credit history. All right. Because some people are a little wary where they don't understand the credit game, and they think you become an authorized user is going to give them access to their account, and you might put their stuff in a negative and you might mess it up, you know. So you want to ensure them like, hey, I'm just putting my name there. You don't have to give me a card. You know, I just want your good credit history. And I'll even pay maybe for a couple of bills or something. You know what I'm saying? You want to make them feel comfortable and ensure them that it's safe. All right? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Oh, we actually did that, matter of fact. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like her credit score was like in the 600s or something. I threw her on as an authorized user, you know what I'm saying? And then her credit score jumped. She's in this, close to 800s now. You know what I'm saying? She's getting fucking, 5-digit funding right now, you know what I'm saying? She got the cars going up. So
I'm
you
lit,
know,
guys. I'm lit.
Yeah, she lit, you know what I'm saying? Because the name of the game is you want to be able to get your personal credit right, start your business, get your business funding, invest in assets, you know what I'm saying? And then repeat the cycle. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like, yeah, it works. You just gotta trust the process, and you gotta hop on it, because like when you follow these steps that we're giving you guys, your credit score can jump fast, and you can start getting that funding that you actually need. You know, oh, another thing, talk to them about the statement dates. You get what I'm saying?
Oh,
When should you apply for your primaries? Because you can become an authorized user, but then you go try to apply for your primaries too fast, and then you get denied and don't even know why. You know what I'm saying? We've seen it happen. So pay close attention to this part right here. Go ahead.
Yeah, so after you become an authorized user, you want to check when these cards report, because it could dramatically affect you when you go apply for your own primary cards, all right? So you don't want to go out there, apply for cards, and this credit history is not even reporting on your credit history. All right, you going to apply and it's saying, miss, you got like a 580 credit score. You're like, no, it's supposed to be 800. So yes, it happened to me.
Yeah. So make sure
this happened to me. So make sure it's reporting before you go apply.
Yeah, so that goes back around to step one, that you want to check with these credit monitoring services, because that's how you're going to know they're reporting. You know, so once you become that authorized user, you want to check with your credit monitoring services, make sure it's reporting, check your score, and then you can start going after your primary accounts. Which leads us to the third way to boost your credit, which is understanding your credit makeup. Because if you don't understand your credit, how are you going to boost your credit score, right? You want to understand what's going on. So I'm going to throw this chart up so you guys can understand your credit makeup. So just knowing this breakdown is going to have a huge impact on how we understand credit, so you can boost and maintain a high credit score.
All right, guys. So as you can see, 35% of this chart is your payment history. That is a very large portion. All right. So this is why it's so important to make sure your payments are on time. Even if you have to make a minimum payment, as long as these payments are on time, you will not have a problem and your score will naturally keep increasing. So make those payments on time, because we don't want 7 years of late payments reporting on our credit report.
Yeah, so it's super important, and just to avoid you having a late payment, like I tell a lot of our clients and people that's in the DYI 700 club, is put your payments on auto pay. All right. And I know a lot of guys, a lot of people, they're thinking about like, damn, but you don't want them to take that chunk out of your account. You can also set up auto pay for the minimum amount, which is like 1% of your utilization and stuff like that, right? So set it up for auto pay. You know, sometimes there's some of us that think we're going to remember. Like I was one of those people like, yo, I'm in here. I'm looking at my credit report all the time. I'm checking my FICO, you know, and I'm thinking I'm not going to miss a payment. I'm making payments like twice out the month. And then one day I was on the app. I thought I made a payment, and the next, you know, I think the next day I got a notification say, hey, you missed a payment, you know. But if this does happen to you, as soon as you realize you miss a payment, call up the lender, right? This is what you can do. Hey, call them up. This is what I did, you know. Hey, I just realized I missed a payment. I'm normally on time. Can you forgive this? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to set up my auto pay. I'm doing it right now in the app. Can you not report this to the credit bureaus, right? And then what they're going to usually say back is like, hey, they don't actually report it until after 30 days, you know, and you want to ask for a forgiveness where they don't actually charge you a fee for it, you know. And most of the time, if you're on time with your payments, they're going to wipe this out, you know. So make sure you have your cards on auto pay for the minimum payment if you don't want them to do the whole chunk at one time, right? So this means that you want to be able to keep your utilization between 3 to 5% if you want your credit score to rise, right? So that means you have to be on it. You have to make your payments. This ties in with authorized user, right? Because what happens is if you get an authorized user who has a high credit limit, so like say for instance in our situation where I had a higher credit limit, so as soon as I put her on as an authorized user, her utilization dropped down, right? So if she started off with that $1,000 credit limit, but then now she hopped on and now she got like a 25,000 credit limit, that utilization is like flat, you know what I'm saying? And that helps your credit score to jump tremendously, right? So we want to pay attention to our utilization. We want to make sure we keep that in that 3 to 5%, 10, you know, at the highest, but we don't want to go over that. All right. And if you want to be able to boost your utilization, like to have more space, get that authorized user, get some trade lines, somebody who has some history and somebody who has a high limit. You get what I'm saying? Because the report on your credit report bringing your utilization down. Right. And speaking about history, right? A lot of people, they have the misunderstanding to think that their credit history goes according to the longest card they had. So say for instance, she had a card that was like 10 years old. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's your credit history. Your credit history changes every time you add a new credit line onto your account, right? So the way you calculate your credit history, the length of your credit history, is you have to take the average of your credit history. So that means that you have to add everything up. So say for instance, there's 3 accounts that you have open. You have to add up all 3 accounts and then divide that by 3, and then you will find out your true credit history, right? So a lot of people, they have a high credit score, right? But then they go apply for something and they get denied and they don't understand why, right? And sometimes it's because your credit history is too low. You might have went out and then applied for too many cards at the same time, and you got too many inquiries wrapped up, and now your credit history went from maybe 7 years and now it's down to like 1. Right? And then this is the reason why it's happening. And in those cases, you do the same thing as you do with the authorized user. You find somebody who has a lengthy credit history, and then you add that onto your account, right? So this way, now when you go apply for stuff, your credit history is not so small. All right.
Also, to add on to what he's talking about when it involves new credit, you want to make sure it actually makes sense when you go out there and apply for new credit, all right? So if you apply for a card, but the system that they have is only involving travel points, but you don't travel, then it wouldn't make sense to apply. Or you get a bonus, but your spending limit has to be maybe $10,000, but that's not your income, and you're forcing yourself to spend $10,000, then don't put yourself in a predicament where you have to spend more than you have, all right? In those situations, then it would not make sense to apply for that particular card, all right? So apply for cards that make sense towards your situation. So if you go to grocery stores and you spend money on clothes, on utilities, then maybe a cash back system would make more sense in those predicaments, all right?
Yeah, so be strategic. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Be strategic about what you want. So if you want to get a high limit, you know, you got to aim for those. If you want to get those cash back advances, like sometimes certain cards, when you apply for them, they tell you, hey, spend $1,000 in 6 months, $2,000 in 6 months, and you do that and you may get $200, $300 back. You want to know what you're doing. You know, do you need to get a trade line? Because remember, when you get a trade line, that goes onto your account as well. And all of these different things affect your history, you know, so you want to be able to choose things that are going to benefit you to be able to maximize the things that you actually want. And then also we have the credit mix, which is 10% of your credit makeup, right? And your credit mix is exactly what it says, your mix of credit that you have on your report. So some people make the mistake of thinking that if they have a high score, that is cool. So, you know, hey, I'm in the 750s, I'm close to the 800s, and then they go to try apply for an automobile or a mortgage and they get denied. Or sometimes even certain credit cards that have high limits and they get denied and they don't understand, like, yo, I'm in the 700s. What happened? And it's because they don't have a credit mix, right? So the credit mix is different type of loans, like installment loans, auto loans, mortgage loans, you know. And I know some of you guys is like, hey, I don't have the money right now. I'm just starting out to be having an auto loan or a mortgage loan. So it's no worries. They have different programs out there that can actually put an installment loan onto your credit report. So you just don't have credit cards there, and it can give you a nice mix of history on your credit profile, right? Because you want to have a strong credit profile so you can be able to get those low interest rates on your auto loans, low interest rates on your mortgages and things of that nature. And you can be able to get access to these high limit cards, you know, that have more rewards and stuff, right? So we want to be able to have the credit mix, and that's the last thing. So we have the late payments, right? Which is the long game. You have your utilization, which is the fast game. We have your credit history, you know, which you can add the authorized users on to build that up. Then you have the new lines of credit, and then you have your credit mix, you know, and this is your credit makeup. And you really want to understand this, because once you understand it, you know how to boost your credit up fast, and you know how to maintain your credit. All right. So this is how you boost your credit fast. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button so you can be notified when we drop our next video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you want to hear next.
I'm saying I write too much, right? You don't even know. You ain't paying attention. I'm saying. I hope you're not sleeping on camera.
Especially if I'm making too much mistakes. It was like, you ready?
Yes.
I threw her on as an authorized user, you know what I'm saying? And then her credit score jumped. She's in this, close to 800s now. You know what I'm saying? The name of the game is you want to